Good morning and welcome to day 3 at NAB 2018 and the Grass Valley booth here in the South Hall, SL 106. We are going to talk with Dave Tasker, Vice President Technology and Pre-Sales for the Americas. Dave, what does that mean?
We have a great team in the Americas, North and South America, looking after being the voice of authority to the customer and also the voice of the customer back into the company and advising us on what we should be doing for the future to solve their problems and needs.
Fantastic. So what do you see then as major challenges facing customers today in terms of building the right networks?
So I think specifically as we transition from AES and SDI traditional networks to IP and possibly hybrid too, we find that customers are having to make the right choice as to whether to go pure IP or hybrid. And then probably the single biggest challenge that they have is selecting the right partner to take them from their idea to realization of a real system.
And obviously Grass Valley would be the perfect partner.
The only.
There you go. So how are we at Grass Valley helping those people to solve those challenges?
Right. So apart from the team of experts that I work with, we have a completely open solution. So we're extremely standards based, and we enable customers to have a soup to nuts solution from Grass Valley. So offering a one throat to choke solution from a single vendor is a major boon to customers in terms of realizing what is for them and us a very new technology with its own individual challenges. And we do that through offering the customer's choice of switch vendor, so the underlying IT fabric, all COTS based of course, but with our own open standards implementations of 2110, 2022-6 and so on.
So let's talk about the product called Orbit and what Orbit is and its ability to monitor IP flows.
Right. So Orbit is probably one of the most important parts once you've got the underlying infrastructure right. It enables you as a broadcaster to work the way you've always worked. So Orbit is your friend in being able to see at a global infrastructure level right down to drilling down to rooms, frames, racks, and even slots in equipment racks, and seeing what your content is that's flying through any particular point in the system, how it's reaching the end device and the perceived quality of the content. And we do that both as a system level but also the individual video, audio and metadata essence levels. And so it's your friend. As a traditional engineer, it enables you to be able to plug around in a jack field around the system and see what you could have seen with a vector scope and waveform monitor when in some IT network you have a huge monolithic switch and you've no idea, frankly, what's going through it.
So engineers don't need to be afraid of IP?
No, providing they have Orbit overseeing and helping them, right.
So give us a real-world example of how Orbit is being used today.
Right. So in North America, we have a number of companies, both for traditional broadcast as well as major financial institutions that publish television to the finance community. And they're using Orbit to monitor the quality of what they do, to be able to do more with less. So they have less colleagues or associates focusing on whether the thing is working, and they're able to redeploy themselves to productive tasks and therefore overall work more efficiently 24/7 around the clock.
And I'm going to make an assumption here about Orbit, you know, from my old days in the analog days and then in the traditional SDI days. Something goes wrong, alarms go off, messages can be sent. So it allows the engineer to know immediately that something has gone wrong, and by them looking at the system and looking at Orbit, they can maybe be a little more proactive?
Exactly. So Orbit works on behind it there's an underlying log database, and it logs all kinds of information from the system. But the last thing we want is it to be the fire alarm that always goes off, and when there's a real fire, you don't trust the system. So the secret of any control and particularly monitoring system is in the filtering and the reliability of the alarms that you're sending. And then on a case-by-case, you can choose how you get those messages sent to you, whether it's a text to your phone, a mobile, light a light, ring a bell, and there's a tiered alarming system. So if you'd like to think of a traffic light system, red is get on it immediately, amber is next shift, please check into something that is maybe not quite right, but not life-threatening in terms of the service continuum. And green is great, go have a cup of coffee and relax.
And we all want green.
Yeah, exactly. And the great thing with Grass Valley is it is green.
So at this NAB show, if you want people to take away one thing from what we're showing here at the booth, what would that be?
Make sure you're doing IP for the right reasons. Make sure you choose the right partner. Make sure it's open standards, COTS, and above all, Grass Valley.
Thanks, Dave, appreciate it. And thanks for joining us here at NAB 2018 on day 3 from the Grass Valley booth, South Hall.